Hi Virgo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your May 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, the Celtic Oracle spread as always, and also pulled some oracle cards and a Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have Neptune, and Neptune's actually in Pisces, which is your opposite sign of relationships, partnerships, contracts. We have Leo, which is actually your 12th house of spirituality, blind spots, mental health. And we have the 9th house. So that's actually Taurus for you guys, and there's going to be plenty going on there. At the very end of April, basically, we're going to have that new moon eclipse in Taurus. Obviously, the sun will be there for the majority of May. Uranus has been there for quite some time, so yeah, definitely going to be a lot going on in there. And also, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde that's going to start in Gemini, but it's going to go back into Taurus. So, plenty going on there. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. In the main situation position, we have the 8 of Pentacles, and in the challenge position, we have the Magician. So this is actually a Virgo energy here, and to see this come up in the challenge position, I feel like this is saying that there might have been something that you've been putting off doing for a while, possibly because you didn't feel like you had the resources to actually make it happen. But I feel like this is saying this month you might actually come to the realization that you're going to find a way, basically. I feel like this is saying that the resources are available to you, and you're coming to that realization this month, and you're actually going to start working toward that. So for some of you, it could be a physical work project that you might be starting on. For some of you, it might just even be possibly seeking higher education around the situation, given that we see that 9th house energy coming up for you guys. See what else comes to mind with this. Could just even be self-improvement in general in any way. So yeah, that's what I see with that. Okay, in the foundation position, we have the King of Wands. So this is Leo energy here, which we did see come up in your dice as well. So it could just be saying that this could be where you envision yourself being, right? And given that we see the 8 of Pentacles come up in the main situation, I feel like a lot of you might not feel like you're in this position yet, right? And for some of you might have even thought it was an unattainable goal for a while as well, but now, like I said, it looks like you're coming out of that and coming to the realization that you actually could work toward it. Could have been a lack of confidence that you had, for example, especially given that we see the Leo energy in the foundation. That could be what it's speaking to. And maybe it was as simple as that. It wasn't just physical resources you might have been lacking. It might have been a lack of confidence around taking the next step around the situation. All right. In the past position, we have the King of Cups. So this is Scorpio energy here, which for you guys is your 3rd house communication. And we do have the South Node there now. There will be a full moon eclipse in that sign as well around the middle of May. So yeah, to see this could just be saying that around communication. Could just be saying that might have been part of it, right? You might have communicated ideas in the past, and you might have felt like you were alone on an island. That's often what I get when I look at the King of Cups now, because I'm just looking at the way that throne looks like it's sitting in the middle of the water, right? So not the most common place you would expect to see that. So that's what I feel like you guys might have felt, that around your communication, you might have put those ideas out there. Maybe the environment you were in, they weren't receptive to those ideas, and that might have made you second guess if they were the right ideas or not. All right. Speaking of second guessing, in the present position, we have the moon. So yeah, this could just be saying that you might not be seeing the path clearly just yet. Now, having the new moon eclipse in your 9th house could definitely help with that, so there's that. But beyond that, this could also just be telling you to pay particular attention to the lunar cycles that will be taking place. So like I said, even though this is a May reading, you might as well consider that new moon eclipse in Taurus on April 30th to be part of the picture. Then you're going to have that full moon eclipse in Scorpio we talked about. Toward the end of the month, there's going to be a new moon in Gemini, which is your 10th house of career and social status. So yeah, could just be saying to keep an eye out for those lunar cycles, because you might be getting some important insights around those times. But yeah, like I said, for some of you, could just be saying that at least as of right now, you still might not see the clear path forward, but I have a feeling that soon you will, because in the near future position we have the Two of Wands. So this is Aries energy here, and to me that Two of Wands represents taking action, right? We see he has that globe in his hand, and he's looking out over the horizons, which to me says, okay, you have a plan of attack, you're going to actually take action toward that. So that's why I feel like you guys are getting to, and interestingly enough, if we look at the Magician, he's basically pointing to that King of Cups in the past, and then also to that Two of Wands in the near future position. So it could just be saying that maybe in the past you might have felt like you were alone on an island with your ideas. This could just be saying, well, maybe you were presenting those ideas to the wrong audience, right? So you could just be looking to expand your audience, possibly reach out to different networks to see, if there's a more receptive environment for your ideas elsewhere. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Ace of Wands and the Chariot. So this is actually the major arcana card for Cancer, and to see this come out with the Ace could just be saying, again, that maybe you're going to have the idea, okay, I have a plan of attack now, right? With the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like at the very least you guys will start working on it. But whatever this idea is that you could be working on, could just be saying that you might not feel like you're ready to bring it out into the open until Cancer season, which is perfectly fine because it actually kind of works with the astrological transits going on, because like I mentioned, there will be that Mercury retrograde taking place in May, and realistically it's not going to clear its shadow until sometime in June, and then before you know it, toward the end of June, we'll be in Cancer season. So it could just be one of those things, one of these ideas you've sat on for a while. Now you might have a plan of attack, you're going to start working toward it, and then by the time we hit Cancer season, you'll be able to hit the ground running with that. And for some of you, this could represent, like I was saying, especially with the way I was seeing these energies playing out, could just represent finding a new group to collaborate with as well, given that for you guys, Cancer is your 11th house of friendships, hopes and wishes, and groups. All right, in the environment position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is Jupiter energy here, and of course, especially during an eclipse season, to see this type of energy come out does make sense, because there tend to be a lot of shifts during eclipse season in general. But yeah, to see this in the environment position could just be saying that whatever these blockages were, whether, like I said, it was just a feeling lack of confidence around the situation, or you might have actually lacked physical resources to undertake some kind of a plan you had in mind. Looks like it could just be saying that with the Wheel of Fortune here, the timing is just more supportive now for you to actually get that forward movement around the situation. Let's see what else comes to mind with this. Well, and of course there is the fact too that Jupiter is actually going to be moving into Aries for a bit during the month of May. So, especially given that we see the Aries energy there too. So for some of you, this could be around investments, right? So another way we could look at the situation is maybe you feel like you've just been in a constant cycle of work, right? And with the ideas we're seeing here, for some of you, this could be some investment ideas that you might have. Like, okay, maybe this is a way where I could get a bit more passive income, right? To help alleviate the stress of all the work that you're doing. Something along those lines there. But yeah, that's what I see with that. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. So, I can see this playing out a couple different ways. I do tend to think of communication quite a bit when I see the Eight of Wands, even though it's a Sagittarius energy, but also for you guys, given that Sagittarius energy is your 4th house, I'm going to see this as more of a fear, which is to say that you might feel like there won't be support within your close environment, right? So family members, for example, whatever this idea is that you might have, you might feel like they're not going to be supportive around that, right? And like I said, for some of you, that could be why you're just seeking a more supportive environment elsewhere. But yeah, that's what I see with that. And again, like I said, I always try to point out to people with the hopes of fears position, whether it looks like an amazing energy or not so good energy, it's just more of what's on your mind as opposed to an indicator that's actually how it's going to play out. And I don't necessarily see a lack of support in that regard. So there's that. And in the outcome position, we have the Page of Cups. Now, it actually came out sideways, so I figured, okay, I'll leave it that way for that reason. So for some of you, I would still consider this to be closer to the upright than in the reverse position. But yeah, could just be saying, again, what I was getting with that chariot energy there, I feel like this is saying you will certainly be putting in the work toward whatever this goal of yours is. But again, I feel like you might not be quite ready to bring it out to the public yet, or whoever this is that you're planning on sharing these plans with. Especially if we look at that, the way that there's a fish coming out of the cup, right? So to me, that almost represents a bit of a rushed energy, right? Like, okay, this wasn't quite ready. I didn't get to look it over enough, right? Had I done so, I probably wouldn't have had a fish in a cup, right? So just one of those things. So it could just be saying, again, especially that this is water energy too, that you might feel like you're not quite ready to bring it out just yet. But as we get to Cancer season, you might feel a little bit more confident with that. All right, and the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Cups. So this is Pisces energy here. So this is an energy for you guys of partnerships or relationships. Like I mentioned, we've had Jupiter moving through the sign of Pisces, and it will be moving into Aries for a bit. But yeah, it's good just to be saying that maybe for a while you might have even gotten in your own way around the situation, right? Where you're like, okay, this is the way I want it done, and there's no exceptions to that, right? So in a way, it could have even led to a bit of isolation for a bit. But now you might actually be a bit more open to a more collaborative effort, and possibly realizing that, okay, it might not be that my idea wasn't the greatest, right? Maybe it was just more of the audience I was proposing it to. So that's what I see with that. All right. Moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have Don't Make Assumptions, Assume Nothing. And let's see what it says. All right, let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. It says, in any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think, and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they're going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. All right, well, a message about assumptions is definitely a good thing to keep in mind, given that, like I said, we will have Mercury retrograde, so that's definitely not the right time to assume anything if there ever is a time to assume things. But yeah, didn't see a whole lot of energy about communication with others in your spread as a whole, but it seems like it could be a beneficial message to keep in mind in general with the Mercury retrograde movement. All right, moving on to your Wisdom of the Oracle card, we have Orphaned. There's the artwork, and the number is 5. So we'll see what this has to say. Definitely looks a bit gloomy, if nothing else, but let's see. Okay, it says a sense of loss, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. The Oracle's message. We were all meant to have connections with other people, within our family, society, and a larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. Pretty positive message there. The part where it specifically mentioned no man is an island definitely made me think of what we were talking about with the King of Cups. So for a lot of you, I feel like that is more of a past energy. And like I said, I feel like you're getting out of that as we speak. But hopefully that resonated either way. The relationship message says, as you shift and evolve and commit to your own growth, you long for support, but may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you are drifting away from this relationship because you're in a different stage of personal growth. Perhaps you are in a new relationship and discovering that you don't share the same values and beliefs, so you feel left out, unable to get that intimate place of safety and belonging. Take heart, as Spirit knows you and loves you, and will steer you in the direction of those who accept you as you are without artifice or agenda. Don't compromise yourself to belong. It won't be worth the price. So again, pretty positive message there. Like I said, with this reading in general, I didn't get a whole lot of one-to-one relationships within that, but I will say with that King of Cups in the past position, for somebody that could have been part of it, right, where maybe you didn't feel comfortable expressing your needs, right, and then they weren't met. And then actually that makes me think of the message we saw here as well. So for somebody that might have been an issue, right, where you just expected those needs to be met, that could be what that Nine of Cups is too, as opposed to actually communicating them. And now with this Aries energy there, that could be saying that maybe now you're getting more comfortable with expressing your needs, right? With communicating those things. So hopefully that resonated. And the prosperity message says this card reminds you that you can't be all things to all people. You are not going to be popular with everyone, and that has to be okay with you. Be clear about your mission, your brand, your work persona, and your contribution to the world, as these must be based on what you authentically have to offer, not something you think will sell or you perceive they may want. You will attract abundance by being completely yourself. Stay in your own lane. That's where you will shine and where you will experience prosperity. So yeah, pretty positive message there, especially with that Eight of Pentacles energy showing up in the main situation, which again, like I said, is a Virgo card. And maybe for some of you, that's what that's referring to too, with these energies we see here. Maybe you're looking at the way others were doing things and thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll just adapt to that style as well, right? Where it's saying that with the magician there, no, actually you had the tools all along. It just might have been that you were expressing your ideas to the wrong audience. So hopefully that resonates with you as well. And lastly, we have a Mudra card. So this is your Mudra here. It's the Vajra Mudra. And the keyword for it is indestructibility. Okay, and let's see if we can get to focus. Okay, so yeah, if you want to pause it or take a screenshot, you can. But under benefits, it says aligns and opens the central channel, the Sushumna Nadi, directs energy upward to the higher centers of the body, improves concentration, strengthens willpower. So if that sounds like a Mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of it in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.